Hey you all, welcome back to the Three Rings. Today we are talking about the food industry and how it is poisoning you and making you addicted so that they continually make money, and how the pharmaceutical industry benefits from your sickness and also makes a lot more money off of you. We got a deep dive to go in today, but we're starting with the food industry. So let's go. Our food didn't make us sick as much as it does today. In fact, back in the 50s or so, our food was more made with a lot of fats, but a ton of studies started coming out saying that fat was bad for you. And trans fats are, but other fats are actually pretty good for you, as we've been learning lately. But basically, they removed all the fats from our food and replaced it with sugar, because without fat, your food tastes pretty bad. The thing about sugar is it actually makes you retain weight, it can give you diabetes, and it lowers your immune system. This sweet white powder, in essence, not white powder, but white grain, is really bad for you. It's actually really horrible. The amount of stuff sugar does to your body, what it does to your immune system, and the diseases it can lead to is way worse than fat. And a weak immune system can lead to other diseases, such as cancer or your common colds and flus. Our body is constantly under attack from all the sugar we eat, and we eat a lot of it. Sadly, sugar is in just about everything, even the healthy stuff. The milk I buy at Costco, which is oat milk. The oat milk I buy at Costco, which is like non-GMO and pretty healthy, has 7 grams of sugar in it. Now, this sugar may be derived from gums, but still, sugar, no matter what, is not really that good for you. And this 7 grams of sugar is just in an oat milk. Now, there's a ton more sugar in a drink like Coca-Cola or Sprite or root beer, to the amount that you are going over your daily value of sugar almost as quick as you drink that drink, right? Right as you're done drinking that bottle of Coca-Cola, you've actually hit your quota for sugar for the next 5 days. Sugar is not just in your soda, but it's in your bread, it's in your milk, like I just said, it's in everything, because it makes it taste so freaking good. But what sucks is if you already have sugar in bread actually turns into sugar in your body. Your body metabolizes it as sugar once it digests, and this is bombarding your body with glucose spikes, sugar spikes, and can lead you to have diabetes. And obviously, diabetes makes people sick and can lead to the losing of limbs, eyesight, and many other things. Diabetes, for the most part, is a completely avoidable disease. Yet we are bombarded by it, and it's worse than ever before. Obesity rates and diabetes rates around the world continue to rise because the government won't regulate the food industry, and the food industry has a lot of money and they are lobbying it to their advantage with politicians and dietitians and scientists. So let's talk about how the food industry will lobby scientists and certain scientific articles to basically say that their product isn't bad for you. And Coca-Cola is the #1 offender on this list. Coca-Cola has funded many studies to say that their drink does not cause diabetes and will not kill you. And it is in fact the opposite. There are many other studies and just common knowledge that, yeah, if you're drinking a ton of soda, it's really bad for you, and it will and could lead to diabetes or some disease that is not good. And in fact, in San Francisco, one of, I think, the district leaders in that area was leading a push against Coca-Cola company. And basically what happened is it got passed by the Senate there, or the local government, that Coca-Cola has to put warning labels on their bottles, much like tobacco products and smoking products have on them, like, hey, this product could cause cancer, or could lead to death, or could deformity, or whatever, right? They would have to put that kind of warning label on their product. The bill ended up passing. So it's yay, good, a win for public safety against abusive food companies that are making addictive products. But even though the bill passed, Coca-Cola ended up suing and winning the lawsuit, and basically nothing ended up happening, and of course that is why there are no warning labels on your Coca-Cola bottles. So what we see here with Coca-Cola, right, blocking the warning labels on their drinks, is they have an immense amount of power and money. There's a dietitians association in America, or a scholars group basically, of a ton of dietitians, right, that are all in a group and go to conferences and expos, and basically these groups are usually highly funded by people in the food industry, and those people being, Kellogg, Coca-Cola, all the big companies. And as we know, 10 companies own all the food products that we eat, essentially. It's a monopoly on food, and it's bad. But they also fund dietitians associations and scientists to put out articles on why their products aren't really that bad for you, even though they are. And they do this because research incentivized by the money of large companies is obviously not going to be the best and most fully researched thing, right? They might do a study on their drink. Drinking Coca-Cola might give you more energy. Yeah, it might, right? That's true. But they might ignore the fact that it could also give you this disease or diabetes, or the fact that there's a ton of chemicals in it. These funded education summits that these big companies are sending these dietitians onto, the training they're sending them to, the articles they're having them write, and the scientific experiments they're having them do are all biased because the money is coming from the food industry. So what we see is a very corrupt food industry that makes an extremely addictive product because sugar tastes so good, right? I used to eat Oreos a lot, or a decent amount, but I'm a person where like I buy a pack of Oreos. I don't eat just one sleeve of that pack of Oreos. I eat the entire box in one day or a day and a half. Like, that's how fast I would consume them. There is a ton of sugar in Oreos, like an absolute massive amount. And you know why it is my choice, and everything does come down to personal choice, right? That product has a highly addictive substance in it that is making me want to go back for more, right? Sadly, the food industry makes its better products that are better for you more money, right? And they make the products that taste good, that are bad for you, cheaper, which means bad food that is poisoning Americans, that is literally giving them diseases and making them sick and just giving them a slew of health problems, is always going to target lower income families, right? So this is even worse. Now we have a disproportionate amount of people that can't afford better food, and they're having to eat all the stuff that is highly addictive because all the organic stuff, all the non-GMO stuff is more expensive. And while I personally believe paying that higher price for organic food, going to your farmers markets, getting whole foods is worth the price because your medical bill won't be as high as the extra few dollars you spent on eating healthier food, it is still a very sucky situation because, you know, number one, the healthy stuff should be the cheaper stuff, and the sweeter stuff that's better for you should be more expensive, right? We look at cigarettes, we look at, you know, let's say even you're smoking weed, right? It's not cheap to buy weed and cigarettes all the time, right? You might spend $20 on some weed, you might spend, you know, $8 to $10 on a pack of cigarettes. That's an expensive habit over time. And I personally, you know, do smoke a little weed. I live in California, and you know, it's not the cheapest, it's not super expensive, but I'm laying down 20 to 30 bucks every time I go to the store. So, you know, you make sugary products cost that much? Oh my goodness. And you make the healthy stuff not cost that much? You make it like the sugary products? Well, guess what? You would see a much healthier nation. But the food industry doesn't want that. They don't want to kill their customers, right? Because I'm saying, oh, sugar is poison, and I truly believe it is for me. But the fact is, they want their customers addicted because the best customer is an addicted customer. An addicted customer keeps coming back for more and more and more and more. And the issue with the food industry is they are not out looking for people's health. They are not out looking for the betterment of, you know, humanity. They are looking to make a profit. And as long as companies, especially companies involved in food and healthcare, primary needs of just a human, right? As long as those industries are bound to a capitalist system that is all about making money, profits will always be over people. And that's the fundamental issue. When you have food production and farming and processed foods all about profit, guess what? They're going to make the most addictive, cheapest product that they can charge for a decent amount of money and make a ton of money off of. And when they make the healthier stuff, they're going to charge even more. So it's shitty. And God, you know, the agricultural industry can be really bad too as well, even with the healthier stuff, right? Farmers will literally sometimes burn crops that are fine because they don't want the price of their crop to go down because they made too much apples that year or too much corn, right? It's insane to me. We literally throw away food, waste food that we could be giving to the poor because guess what? Profit is king. It's so stupid. It's like people's lives are on the line and you could be feeding them, you know, and you're burning your produce, right? It just, it blows my brain. It sucks. So now let's talk on another topic about stuff that isn't great for us, that is in our food, and that is hydrogenated oils or vegetable oils. Like canola oil, the cheap veggie oils that you're buying, they're really bad for you. They're actually horrible, and everything is cooked in them. Like a lot of stuff is cooked in them. The restaurant I work at cooks everything in canola. A lot of places also cook in peanut oil. These, vegetable oils and nut oils aren't really that good. Now your avocado and your olive oils tend to have way less hydrogenated oil in them, which means when they burn, not as much carcinogens are coming off. But a lot of carcinogens aren't good for the body, and these cheap oils have a lot of them in them. And they're super wasteful for the produce industry as well. To get canola oil or a corn syrup, right, it takes 92 ears of corn to make like an ounce. And like the bottles they sell that stuff in are not like 1 ounce, they're like 16 or 12 ounces, right? So you're using 92 ears of corn just to produce a small amount of oil or syrup, and it's a huge process that takes a ton of energy. It's just super inefficient and super bad for human health at the end of the day, but it's not bad for the pockets of the people that own these companies. And that, again, is the main problem, right? They are willing to put bad stuff in your food. They're willing to cook your food in really bad stuff. And these hydrogenated veggie oils really are not great for you. In fact, it'd probably be better to cook your food in animal fat or butter, right? Than cooking it in these cheap hydrogenated oils. Again, olive oil, avocado oil, way, way better for you. But if you're cooking in canola oil or cheap veggie oils that are coming in like those plastic clear containers, yeah, they're cheap, but they are detrimental to your health. So how do we solve this problem? How do we, bring the food industry to its knees and hold it more accountable? Number one, we can have some more autonomy. Support local grocers and farmers markets. Buy your veggies and your produce from them. I have a great local grocer, and we have some great farmers markets here in California that are amazing, right? And going to them, you're supporting local people that you can get to know face to face, instead of these massive corporations like Kellogg's, Coca-Cola, P&G, all the big food companies. Support your local guys, right? Support local businesses and eat organic and whole foods. By doing this and not buying these processed foods, it forces the market to change, right? And obviously, having a more regulated system and maybe voting in people and also starting up our own causes and petitions against these large food companies that are absolutely destroying our health, destroying future generations' health. America's life expectancy rate has gone down in the last decade, not up. A lot of other countries are going up, and we are sliding down. This is not good, and some of it is due to our food. So petition, raise awareness, educate yourself, and eat different foods, and preferably eat foods from local people that you know, organic foods, whole foods. Obviously, it's better for your body and better for who you are and better for your life in the long run. And obviously, it's not easy. For me, I'm trying to give up bread, and it's hard. I love bread and I love pasta, but that stuff literally turns into sugar in your body. So I'm trying to get through that, but in small ways. Make your diet different, and that doesn't involve processed foods. And these companies will start to lose profits, and they will be forced to change. And yeah, I think that's really, something that we have to do. So it has to be a personal change on our end, but also we need to hold them accountable by electing politicians that regulate these companies, protesting against these companies, being like, hey, you can't be doing this. This isn't right. Writing petitions, protesting, trying to get lawsuits against them because they are straight up poisoning us, and it's not great. And all this poison that gets accumulated in your body from eating all the sugar leads to disease. And who benefits from us being sick? It's nothing else than the pharmaceutical, medical industry, and insurance industry. And that's what we're jumping into right now. So when you get diabetes, you have to get insulin, right, to balance out your blood glucose levels and your blood sugar. Guess how much insulin costs in the United States? Many of you know this, it's incredibly expensive. It's $600 without insurance. In other countries, it's $60, and I think in even some countries it's nearly free. But in America, $600 for this life-saving drug. It's a blatant just showing of the corruption of our system. The pharmaceutical industry so blatantly overprices their things that you cannot just look at them and you just see the greed. You see the greed, and it's so blatant, they don't even hide it. And it really makes me mad because I'm like, this is life life-saving medicine. Life-saving. And if someone doesn't have insurance, or let's say their insurance isn't great, you're going to charge them $600. And hell, I mean, maybe you get a copay on it, maybe you're getting it for $80. But still, that's expensive. Especially in American society where our wages are stagnant and our housing prices keep going up and we have to pay for insurance and then we have to pay for maybe expensive co-pays because guess what? The lowest insurance, which is, bronze level at whatever insurance provider you're with, isn't really gonna, cover everything for you. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. A life-saving drug, insulin, $600. And it's not just other stuff, right? Let's say you get cancer because your diet was not great because of these addictive foods and the predatory practices of the food industry. And you get a disease because your immune system's down, you get cancer. Well, some cancer medication and cancer treatments cost upwards of $300,000 because they think, hey, this is saving your life, and over your lifetime, if you were taking this as a prescription drug, it would probably be up to $300,000. That's just simply not true. And they do it so they can make a ton of money. And some of this is due to the insurance industry, but some of this is also in Europe where these drugs still cost this much, even with social, like healthcare, right? The pharmaceutical industry, and it's only, again, like another 10 companies, just like the food industry, that own pretty much the rights to all, patents and are developing all the life-saving medications in the world, and then they can make them as expensive as they want, especially here in America, because the FDA, guess who they're funded by? Pharmaceutical industry, lobbyists, and people. So guess what? The FDA is not going to regulate the food companies and the drug companies because who is paying for their bills? Who is helping them with research and all this stuff? The companies that they're supposed to regulate. That is a huge conflict of interest, and it's so blatantly there that it's not even hiding, and it's just another cue to the corruption and everything within our food and drug and medical industry and pharmaceutical industry. It just, again, makes me really upset. So you have life-saving drugs that are meant for cancer, $300,000. Most people don't have a spare $300,000 lying around. And these insurance companies might pay for some of it, but you're still going to have like a $50,000 bill. And when you go to the hospital, maybe even for an emergency, right? So you're in the emergency room, maybe you broke your arm. They will charge you $80 for a bottle of ibuprofen, even though when you go to buy it at a place like Walgreens or CVS, it's $20 or less, right? They will charge you $5 for this Q-tip. What really pisses me off is when people are having babies, they will pay you for skin-to-skin contact with your baby. That child that came out of you. And if, I guess you're the other partner in the situation that's not having the baby, but you helped create it, whatever the situation may be, like the fact that you have to pay to hold your own child, something you created, that is like, that shouldn't be real. Why is that a thing? It makes me just question reality. Like, how did we get this greedy where it's like, you know what, we can charge them for holding their child? What? Some places it's $40, but one person, and like I think the insurance covered it, I saw a video on it, and I think their bill for it was $4,000. $4,000 just for holding their kid. I'm like, how is that legal? Like, you made that. Why are you having to pay $40,000 to $4,000, depending on what your insurance is and what's happening, for that? And it's insane. So hospitals overcharge you for simple things. A hospital ride in an ambulance is around $1,500 because my sister once got in a little car crash and they took the ambulance. Their bill was close to $1,100 to $1,500 for a 5-minute ride to the hospital because it was close by. 5 minutes, $1,100. It's a blatantly corrupt and greedy system. The insurance industries make sure the medical industry, the hospitals, charge super high so that they can be like, hey, we'll cover all that with the premiums and the money. Most people are covered, but some people aren't. And guess what? If you are covered, but they take you to a hospital that's not within your network, you're fucking screwed. So this system obviously is, again, predatory. It's wrong, it's bad, and it's outright, I don't like to use the word evil, but it's just super greedy. It's so greedy. Like, doing my research on this, I was like, bruh, this is making me pissed. It's horrible. The insurance industry contributes to the high prices of the medical industry, and obviously the pharmaceutical industry that can save your life with its drugs will charge you out the ass whether you have insurance or not. And yeah, it's just insane. And some of these drugs, like the COVID-19 vaccine, America bought up like a lot of them, almost all of them, and they were free and still are free for a lot of people. But there might be a point when they're not. The vaccine, I think, per vial costs like around 20 cents to make. And in a few years here, the companies that are making them want to charge $130 per vaccine. Something that costs you 20 cents to make. 20 cents. And you're charging 130. That's an insane profit margin. Like, if you're trying to make money, oh my God, look at you. You're killing the game. But you're killing the game with something that can save someone's life. Something someone should have a human right to. I think we all have a human right to health, wealth, and prosperity, right? And this is where, you know, if we're gonna segue into stuff about the housing industry and all these other things, being alive, you are worthy of being housed. You are worthy of being paid enough for the work that you provide and the productivity you provide to society. And you are worthy of not having to worry about the fact that if you get sick, you're not gonna go, you know, broke or homeless because you had 2 or 3 medical bills that you couldn't afford. The system is broken, and we have to change it. It's so blatantly broken in our faces, and I think so many of us are getting tired of it. So many of us are seeing the lies because they're not that well hidden. We're seeing the corruption of these companies and just the blatant advantage being taken on us, the people. And it truly is sad to see. And I think what people don't realize, whether you're on the left or right, I'm definitely a leftist. I'm very much for socialism. But no matter what your political spectrum is, I think we see that the people in power aren't in the game for us. They're in the game for themselves, for their families, and for their friends. They are in the game to become as rich as possible, as powerful as possible. And they're not here for our well-being. So I ask you, people on both sides, yeah, you might hate me because I'm a socialist. You might not like all my views. But really, we shouldn't be mad at each other. We should be mad at the people benefiting off of our lives, benefiting off of our sickness, benefiting off of our food, benefiting off of our work and not paying us enough. Those are the real villains of this story. We shouldn't be mad at each other. We should be mad at the people poisoning us and dividing us. And that is the elites. That is the people that are, you know, literally controlling the world. It's the elites, the billionaires, the people hoarding their wealth and lobbying against things that would be saving people. Those are the people we need to focus on. Those are the people we need to get out of power. And we need more everyday people running this nation. We need more new blood in politics. We need more accountability in the food industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the insurance industry, and every branch of our policies and political environments. We need more accountability and more honesty and more love and more empatheticness in everything. Because we have a right to live and not just survive. Society, we're advanced. We have a lot of things. We have internet. We have so much stuff. And we have more than enough to go around. Or at least we can make it work. But because of capitalism, there has to be a supply and demand. A product that saves your life has to cost almost $1 million. Or $500,000. Because guess what? They want to make money. They have to. It's the game. It's the system. Maybe a new system is what's needed. Because, you know, people might say, well, capitalism's the only system that's working. Is it working? Every 10 years, we have a crash of our economy that leaves millions of people in poverty. Yeah, a few people get rich from it, but they had to be kind of rich before it to get even richer. So, who's the system benefiting? It's not me and you. The system is benefiting the people on top. And while I do think through determination, few of us can get through it, I also think everyone deserves the right to a good life. And that means better education, cheaper education, better food, better healthcare, and just better states of living. Because a few medical bills shouldn't put you on the street. And your food shouldn't be killing you. And life-saving treatments shouldn't be $300,000. There's something wrong, and we need to fix it. And that's why the Three Rings is here. We're here to fix it together. And I think through community, through love, through empathy, through understanding, and through our combined voices, our combined power as a community, we can change the world. Thank you so much for watching this video. You mean the world to me, and I am so happy to make these. And it is my passion and my truth to educate myself, to love, and to hopefully change the world. So be mindful of the food you partake of, and support your communities. Support those local grocers, support your local farmers, buy organic if you can. These are the small ways we can rebel. Plant your own little patio garden, or if you have a backyard, plant a raised garden. Stop relying on a system that is killing us, a system that is taking advantage of us, and let's break away from the system and show them that, hey, maybe we can do this better ourselves, and maybe then the system will change and start benefiting everyone again, because that is how it should work, and I think it can work that way. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know where I need to improve. I'm always open to constructive criticism. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay loving, and I will see you next time.